What's going on, everybody? I'm Terrence, and this is Bank Shipping. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everybody's having a beautiful morning so far. If you ain't up, go ahead and get up, start that grind. It is Monday, that day nobody likes, but we got to do it to get through the rest of the week, right? I am up here in Williamsport, Maryland. It's about, I don't know, 50 miles, something like that, from home. Picking up a load of scaffolding, going down to Glen Allen, Virginia. Short load. A broker that I know that I do quite a bit of work with, he called me Friday, asked me if I could pick this up first thing Monday morning, get it down there same day. I told him of course, and so that's what we got. Nice low load, low profile load. I mean, even though that one stack in the front's tall, it's still lower than what my the top of my cab is. So got a nice low profile load. Got everything strapped down, and we'll get ready to head out. It's a little bit over 18,000 pounds, so more than what the insulation weighs, but that's all right. The old girl can handle it. So we're strapped down. I've double checked my straps, everything like that, so we are good to go. I'm going to see y'all down in Glen Allen. Well, I made it. Had a nice easy ride down 95. I wouldn't necessarily say easy. This time of year is when everybody's traveling, going to the beach and everything else, so you know the interstates are just jam-packed with people. So you know, you got people going slow in the fast lanes, trying to go fast in the slow lanes. So you know, normally this time of year, just like the winter time, really, I kind of just give myself a little bit of extra time, prepare for the ride, you know, the easy ride, just cruising, and you know, being mindful for all the travelers on the road, because they definitely aren't mindful for you. You know, gotta watch out for them because they don't watch out for themselves. So you know, but that's one of the things about being in this industry, driving a truck. You know, not only are you driving for you and your safety, you're driving for everybody else and their safety, because there are a lot of people out there that just plain out don't pay attention. And that's for four-wheelers and trucks, but mainly four-wheelers. But yeah, got down here to Glen Allen, and only took about 2 hours, 40 minutes, something like that. Almost unloaded, as y'all see. But the thing I don't like about coming to this place, I come here pretty often. But the thing I don't like about coming here is you pretty much have to come in the entrance down here, and then you got to drive all the way down this hill and go make a circle back around there, come back up this hill, and then hug this curb tight, pull up, and then basically get your trailer wheels right off of that curb. And you have to watch out for this curb over here because there's a dip afterwards. And basically, you know, in between other trucks and other trailers and everything like that, you kind of got a jackknife to get yourself in here. But it ain't too bad, you know. First time I did it, the course was in my Hotshot. First time I did it in this, it was a little bit more of a pain and they had more stuff around, but today's not too bad. So we done being unloaded, get my paperwork signed. I'll see y'all later. All right, so I'm up here in Jersey, Delanco, New Jersey to be exact. Had a 2-stop load that I picked up this morning. One stop in Thurmont, Maryland, and then second stops in Delanco, New Jersey. Got everything off in Thurmont. Sorry about that. I just noticed one of my bungees was unhooked on my tarp down here in my dunnage rack. Guess the rough roads. Can't find the damn hook back here. I guess the rough roads kind of took a toll on it. Back over here. There we go. Anyway, got the first stop off, second stop up in Delanco. The only problem with these NVR loads is they stop receiving at 2 p.m. pain in the butt. Their receiving hours is from 7 to 2. So anytime you got a 2 stop, you pretty much have to load the night before, get out first thing in the morning, and hopefully don't hit no traffic in order to make this both stops off in a day. And then of course you're out of drive time after that. But since I loaded this morning, you know, I didn't get out of, I got there at 5 till 7 to load up. Took them about 2 hours and 15 minutes to load me, which I don't really understand why, but that's part of the game, at least at that customer. I busted my butt to get strapped and tarp. Was out of there in 45 minutes after I strapped and tarp. So a total of 3 hours at the pickup. Got to the first drop in Thurmont, got that off. All they had was some house wrap that is basically under here. They got 5 skids of that, so you know, untarp, unload, retarp, all that good stuff. And then got up the road, hit a bunch of traffic outside of Philly, and then finally got here. So this will get off in the morning. 4 skids of insulation, 6 skids, 4 skids of insulation, 6 skids of house wrap, and then hopefully the load that I thought that I was going to pick up in the morning to take back is no longer available, going, whatever. So I don't have anything going back. So I definitely don't, you know, you guys know I'm primarily a regional, local guy, don't stay out much. But when I go on these further trips, I like to find something coming back, you know, look on the load board, try to find something coming back. That way I limit the deadhead, you know, since I am local and I run a lot of same day loads, I do deadhead a bit. But with fuel prices, I've tried to limit that because that's a huge killer. You know, beforehand, it wasn't a huge killer for me because the rates were good enough that I could basically make round trip and still make good, like real good money. But not so much now because fuel prices have went up, rates have not went up as much. Fuel surcharges have gone up a little bit, but not to where they should be. So I'm out here parked in a Wawa. It's like a little separate parking lot. It's only got 5 spaces in here. So I was hoping when I got up here, I was really hoping and you know, this thing wasn't full, because other than that, I didn't know where I was gonna park. Because you know, it's Jersey, they're not very trucker friendly. Now there is a sign when you first walk, you know, when you first pull in here, it says no overnight parking. Well, guess what? I ain't got nowhere else to go, and I ain't got no time to go nowhere else. And my drop off is literally a right turn out of here, a left turn on the next street, and then 2 blocks down. So I mean, I'm 0.3 miles from my drop off, so I'm not going anywhere. So we'll see how that plays out. But one thing I wanted to show y'all is, you know, I've said it before, but I've really never been able to show y'all. But you know, a lot of people get that, oh, you got a single axle, it's easier to get around, you know, yada yada yada. I hear that from, you know, customers and stuff like that. Oh, it probably ain't too bad. You know, I see people, oh, it's probably not too bad getting that thing around being a single axle. And they don't believe me when I tell them that even though it's a single axle, I'm still long with the 53-foot trailer. So I'm parked next to a 53-foot dry van with a newer Freightliner Cascadia power unit. So as you all can see, I'm maybe, what you say, 6 inches, 8 inches, you know, from being lined up with his tail end. Now let's walk up here. Nice long walk. Even though I got a single axle, because of the way this kingpin sets so far forward on this trailer, the way it's made, it is longer. You know, it's not as much over the axles, you know, as what a traditional semi step deck would be. So because of that, it makes my truck a little longer. But I don't mind that because I'm used to it, A, and B, when it comes to axle weights when it comes to scaling, that keeps my weight pretty much even with the Kingpin being that far back, you know. So like I said before, you know, when I scale this thing empty, I'm 27,000 with all my equipment, and it's almost 9s across the board, steer, drive, and trailer. So it's pretty even. Don't really get more even than that. So but yeah, I'm gonna go in here, use bathroom, get me something to eat, something healthy. I'm on a health kick. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the morning. So I got the rest of that load dropped off up in Delanco, New Jersey this morning. I set up there for about an hour after I unloaded and tried to find me a load coming back home. Couldn't find nothing going south. There was only like, I looked at the board all day yesterday, looked at the board today, you know, this morning, and there was only like 3 loads that posted on the board that were going south, you know, where I needed to go. So that's kind of unusual for Jersey. That's why I don't, you know, I normally don't mind running up there, because there's normally plenty of freight coming back to get me back, you know, home. But I ended up finding a can. I don't really like running these things. They're cans, you know. It was the same on my Hotshot. I didn't like running cans there. You know, the wind drag and all that good stuff. Even on that, you know, it's still a bit of a wind drag because it still sets taller than my cab. You know, the 8-foot ones, not too bad. The high cubes, you know, where they're 9.6, it's a bit of a wind drag. But, you know, that was the only thing that was out there, and it beat, you know, coming home, all the way home empty. Now, you know, you guys know that I'm not one to come home with something with a poor rate just to have something. You know, I don't do that. I would much rather deadhead, but this load paid pretty good. Surprisingly, seeing that it's a can, and it was going to Harrisonburg in the morning, which basically, to get to Harrisonburg, I don't have no choice but to go past the house. So it worked out perfect. So here we are, we're home. I had a nice little thunderstorm, so now it's all, you know, gross and muddy where I park. I need to get some gravel to put down right there, or some more gravel to put down right there, just so I can actually wash my truck and not have to worry about backing in the mud. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for the day. You know, we'll run this down tomorrow, and then I have another load to pick up from the, you know, my normal Kingspan load. But you know, being up in Jersey and stuff and not being able to really find anything with a decent rate coming back, or even no loads, you know, I wanted to talk about freight volume. And the crazy thing is, you know, this time of year is flatbed season. You know, it's booming. There's plenty of loads on the board, and because there's a whole bunch, you know, overabundance of loads on the board, you know, during flatbed season, that means the rates, you know, they tend to go up because people want their stuff moved. So you got to pay a better rate for a truck to actually come get your stuff, because why come get your stuff if there's more stuff out there that pay better? But right now, from what I'm seeing, you know, I can't speak for everybody, but from what I'm seeing in my area is there is a really low freight volume for this time of year. And so with that, you know, comes lower rates because there's not a lot of freight. So brokers and, you know, shippers and everything, they can move things for cheaper because everybody's looking for a load. Now, 2 things with that is, 1, rates. Terrible, absolutely terrible, because they're still moving stuff somehow, able to move stuff for $2 a mile or lower, and fuel is $6 a gallon. You know, I actually had somebody, a broker, call me at like 7:30 this morning. Hey, I see you're in the area. You know, I see you have a truck in the area. We got a load running from, it was like Williamstown, New Jersey or something like that. It was like 30 miles from where I was at, going down to Richmond. And he's like, it's a load of insulation, you know, real light load. Can go on a, you know, need a 48-foot flatbed or step deck. So I'm like, cool, that works perfect, you know. What kind of rate you got on it? My man gives me the rate. I'm figuring up the rate, and I'm like, hold up. That's $2.40 a mile. I was like, you got any wiggle room on that rate? No, I'm stuck here. I said, can't do that. He said, well, what would you need to move it? I said, double it. He said, double it? I said, yeah, double it. That's what I would need to touch that freight. I need $4 or more a mile to touch any freight going to or coming from Jersey or that whole entire area. Now, of course, I would love more, but that is my bare minimum for anything coming in and out of Jersey, because fuel is high up there and you have tolls. So I'm not going to run no $2.50, $3. I might judge for a 3, you know, I might move for a 3 1/4, $3.50 if I need to get out of a spot, but I'm not going under $3. I know I just said 4, but I'll make some exceptions every once in a while. But I'm definitely not going under $3 a mile in that area when I have high fuel costs and tolls. You know, I think I passed a fuel station today. You know, of course, I stayed at the Wawa last night. Diesel at the Wawa was $5.92, I think is what it was. But of course, you can't get no truck in that Wawa. So, you know, their canopies at the gas station ain't even tall enough for you to get in there. So you can't even fuel up there anyway. Most of the places that you can get truck fuel at was $6 and above. So why am I moving something for $2.50? Must have slipped and bumped your head. So back to what I was talking about from what I've seen with the freight volume is, you know, this leads me to think that we are in the beginning stages of a recession, because from what I've seen and from what people, you know, what people have said who I've talked to, some of my customers and stuff. Prime example, this load that I took up to Jersey, you know, it was a 2-stop, one in Maryland, one in Jersey, and they didn't get a lot of product. You know, I think the first stop got 5 skids of house wrap, the second stop got 4 skids of insulation and 6 skids of house wrap. You know, that's not a lot of product compared to what they normally get. And the reason for it is because they're only placing orders for stuff that they're selling. They're not placing orders to have stock. And the reason for that is because they're not going to go out and spend a bunch of money for stock and then the bottom fall out of the economy. Now they're stuck with that stock and they paid for it. Now they can't make their money back. And I've seen a few customers of mine and a few places that I've dropped off at, you know, a few receivers. That's how they're operating right now, because everything is in limbo so much that they don't want to spend a bunch of money on something that they may not make back. So just be mindful of where we're headed. You know, I don't want to scare anybody, but you got to plan for it. You know, when you're in this business, you got to plan for the unforeseen. And like I've said it before, COVID was unforeseen. I don't think nobody could plan for that. I don't really think anybody could plan for $6 a gallon fuel, especially not overnight, you know, and especially not for it to sustain or go up like they're talking about. You know, they're still talking about possibly having upwards of close to, you know, $10 a gallon fuel. I don't know how true it is, but multiple sources talk about it. You know, so you got to plan for that. You got to plan for a possible recession, because what's that mean? If you got high fuel costs and you go into a recession and things start to slow down or close up like during COVID, that means it's going to be even lower freight volume, which means that everybody's going to be even more cutthroat fighting for loads just to survive. And so in turn, what that does is it's the same mindset that people have of, well, I'll take something cheap. You know, I seen it earlier today, somebody talking about 80 cents a mile is better than, you know, $0. Well, yeah, maybe right now, but you keep doing that and eventually it catches up to you, because 80 cents a mile ain't going to pay for something when it breaks. So you gotta plan, you gotta be careful. Like I've said before, these times are crazy right now, they're hard right now. You know, if you can, don't do no frivolous spending. Make sure all your equipment is in order. Really hammer on preventative maintenance right now. I mean, you should be hammering on preventative maintenance anyway, but now more than ever, because if you can avoid a breakdown, you're already ahead of the game, because a breakdown is not going to do anything but put you down for an unknown amount of time. You're going to have to pay a high amount for a part that used to be half the cost last year. You know, we still have shipping woes. I don't really know how, but you know, it still takes time to get stuff. So preventative maintenance can help you through all of that. So definitely hammer on the preventative maintenance, and then make sure you're putting back as much as possible. Put back as much money as possible for that rainy day fund, because you never know. Nobody knows what is going on right now. You know, the economy is so up and down and in circles and in shambles. Nobody knows what's going on right now. So you have to do your due diligence to protect your investment, to protect your business. You know, your truck, your trailer, your equipment, all that's an investment. So you have to do your best to protect that investment. Maintenance, you know, preventative maintenance is one of those things. No frivolous spending is one of those things. You know, me personally, I would love to go out and put another truck on the road, but I'm not right now. I'm not going to go out and spend money on things that I don't necessarily have to spend money on. I would love to do a couple things to my truck. Do they need to be done? No. Mainly it's appearance stuff. Like, I'd like to get fenders back and things like that, but I can live with the dirt getting on the back of my truck without having to fork out $2 grand for some fenders right now, because I don't want to fork out $2 grand and then something happen where that $2 grand could have saved my butt. You know, a lot of trucking companies are going under right now. A lot of guys are getting, you know, and it's both ways. Some are being forced out because they're going bankrupt, and some are getting out before they're forced out. You know, so that should tell you something. And I mean, it's not just small mom and pop businesses that are going out. There's some bigger companies. You know, if you watch and you do some research, there's some bigger companies that are going out of business or getting bought out, things like that. So you got to watch this market. You got to go back to your business plan. I can't stress that enough. And plan as best as possible that you can for what's to come in the future. You know, go ahead and throw some predictions out there. What I like to do, you know, this is just me. I listen to all these people, all these predictions of where fuel's going to be, where freight's going to be, all that stuff. And I go to the worst case scenario on everything, and I throw that in my business plan. So if they say, you know, look forward to $10 a gallon fuel, yeah, it may not happen, but I'm gonna put it in my business plan to make sure if it does happen, I'm prepared for it. You know, so that's just my little tidbit for the end of the video. Y'all know I like doing that. It's hot. Got real, you know, after the rain, it's really hot. It's humid. It's real sticky. But yeah. So we're gonna shut her down. Old girl's been cooled off good enough. We're gonna shut her down. We're gonna head to the house. We'll get back at it in the morning. So as always, stay prayed up, grind hard, and stay humble.